Hello and welcome to another episode of Malt Magic and More, where on Monday we spent most of our time growing as characters and people, mainly because we didn't know what we wanted to do next. So let's talk about it now on the Aftershow show.
Howdy. How are we doing?
Hi-oh.
Pretty good. Very good. That was
on the
session.
RP session.
Yeah, it felt like a nice come down after the chaos that was the previous week of dying twice.
Good opportunity for me to just let you go with it as well, to be honest. So didn't have to do too much at all in that session. Just you guys guided the narrative totally.
It did feel like a natural point to do it though, because there's all stuff that we wanted to do or needed to do. We needed to recoup. We do need to resupply, because if we went to Delywin or Mantinea now and got into a scrap, I don't have enough arrows to do this battle strategy that has worked so well for me. So we do need to do that, and it also helped me. I always like to RP in the new stuff I learn when I level up.
Yeah.
Just to make it make sense, because I always think if I was watching something, then all of a sudden I defeated this guy. Oh, now I can comprehend language and create a tiny hut. Or I've suddenly got a new bardic ability to counter charm stuff by playing my pan flute. Where's that come from? I wanted to go to and learn something or study. So if I couldn't have found somebody from the College of Eloquence, I was just going to pretend I learnt it from the Book of Song, which is why I wanted to read that.
Yeah.
And say it was a new song that I'd learned, so I always like to try and RP them in.
Yeah, no, I think that makes perfect sense. And I think it's a very good way of doing it, to be fair. I think none of us used abilities because, and today would have been super easy for you to be like, "Oh, I've got tiny hut. We can just sleep out in the store."
Yeah,
but you didn't, which I think I thought was quite good.
Yeah, it was good. There was a lot of. I mean, that's the thing I like about the whole RPing these changes, so to speak, because it brings a lot of flavour to your character, and that's what makes. For you, that's what's going to make your character for you at the end of the day. It's great for the audience and great for me, but it's do you bring that little bit of personality to each of your characters? So, I mean, we can see it in all three now. They've each got their own little niche that they sit in terms of the way they act, the way they react. That bit at the beginning with the guards was arguably the funniest bit for me, because I'm thinking, okay, we don't want to go into combat, but you're about to piss off a room full of guards.
But that's exactly what I think each character was going to do. I think,
Yeah.
Dargon's not going to be bullied by any man, and thinks he's way more important than these people. So he's like, "Excuse me, why are you rolling out the red carpet?" And Kirek's like, "You've desecrated holy ground." And Bothrid's like, "I want to go to the garden."
So all Bothrid wanted to do, all guys just want to go home.
Honestly, yeah, Kirek's response of you do know that you're desecrating this temple. I was just like, ooh, burn.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Very much so.
It was absolutely brilliant.
It's on point there. It was exactly what Kirek would have done.
Yeah. And that was the thing.
I also like to think if we RP the changes as well, it helps. It might. If I was watching it as a viewer rather than I'd be trying to guess what they were. So, if he's leveled up in Bard, it could be this, or if he's leveled up in Rogue. So they must know that I've leveled up in Bard now, because, well, obviously I've mentioned it on the last week's Malt Magic and More, but if they didn't watch it, it's like little Easter eggs for them, isn't it? There's me thinking I'm a Marvel show, leaving Easter eggs.
I'm leaving them left, right and centre, mate. There's a few sort of key moments that I think happened during that episode. There was obviously some revelations with the Malt Masters.
I really wanted to ask when Annabelle came in and said sort of what else has happened or something, I really wanted to ask what, because I was like, that's a hell of a giveaway.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I'm glad I asked though, why do you keep wanting to verify it's us? Because it turns out there's changelings and probably bards or rogues in disguise that are...
Doppelgangers as well. We got a doppelganger dropped.
So they're going to be coming our way at some point when we least expect it. The guy at the end, red skin, correct? 'Cause obviously, initially I was thinking it. Yeah, I was going to say.
Patron.
I think initially I was like, oh, that was Orfeo or whatever his name is, and then I was like, he said red skin, and I was like, okay, and then it was like it was the only scry, not the only scry, one of the only scries that worked. I was like,
yeah, I was on the location. Yeah.
Also, he's the red-skinned individual from your vision of what happened with Tyrael. So it could just be him, who is one and the same as the patron, which is our running theory. So,
and also apparently she, now is that the seer, stopped this person thing.
Certainly thwarting plans seems.
Yeah.
I think it's the seer,
fact
yeah,
that
for sure.
And we know the source gave off a magical EMP pulse.
So they would have known that was happening.
But in theory, we might be faced with the decision that, you know, when you were saying take out a few to save the many, it might be that to defeat the enemy, we might need to destroy all magic in Nylon because they have attained so much power that we have to remove it from them. That's the only way we can do it.
It's one of those things
I'll just
that
literally be a bloke with a bow and arrow after that.
It's kind of
all magic.
It's kind of one of those things. I was trying to find the analogy, but it's like, you know, we're all in the same breath. We're also destroying the very shackles that hold it in place. So we are not only releasing it, but also plunging it to its death, if that makes sense. It's like cutting the rope that someone's hanging off. It's like, well, you're free now. You know, it was trapped around your neck, but unfortunately you're also going to fall to your death. It kind of feels like we've got that conundrum ahead of us. And it's a very interesting one because, as you say, it's one of those ones of which is the right answer. You know, should you say, if we save Nylon, we could ruin the rest of the world, or do we let Nylon fall? And as I say, we've spoken about it in Malt, Magic and More for a couple of weeks now, but that's just a really interesting, you know.
And it's good to know that, well, Mantineer and Deluin, so Mantineer is safe-ish, but yeah, it's also convenient from that our enemies are attacking the same places that we need to go, so which does sort of lead me to think that he sent the Elantrian looking for the prophecy. That didn't work, so he's now got a whole band of people that probably don't know what they're looking for, but there seems to be a bigger effort to maybe find the prophecy in these areas.
It's the same old thing. It's the same old thing. Siege the place and send a couple of good lieutenants, you know.
Yeah.
Lieutenants.
But, like, they don't probably know that it's Mantineer and Deluin, which is why River's Edge has been sieged, Seameat, East Vale. Because East Vale is a place full of crazy magic, as we know. We've fought there on a couple of Halloweens. So we know that is a powerful place. So you would think if you were looking for a prophecy, that could be a good place to go.
And also, Idris is getting overrun, I think.
The other one on the water.
Is it? Was that the one?
So, Idril and Mantineer were the two that were called out as seemingly being okay right now.
Fine. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, very
basically sounded like the whole of the northeast was relatively untouched, but everywhere else seemed to be
screwed.
It makes sense if it's been under attack. It's probably just passed out, is she right?
No, just
Like-
she decides to push my entire dice tray on the floor. So
Oh, good.
I don't even want to look. No, not really.
She is chaotic neutral, though, isn't she? So it makes sense.
Ignore your familiar for 2 weeks, and this is what happens.
Yeah. But I do think it does make sense that the west is untouched and everything is coming from the east and the southeast making its way across.
Pushing
It's
towards the west.
we definitely mentioned that like a couple of months ago on a Malt Magic and more of like it's going to be an attack that's going to come from like 3 or 4 angles at the same time, and it's
we did.
basically what's happening.
Is that why you wanted to scry on Orfeo? Because if there's something coming from the southeast in River's End, did you think it was coming from him?
Yeah. That was immediately
was-
like the very first thing that they said was shadow coming from the south. Kirek was like, "Yep."
Oh, great. He just went, right, I'm just going to go via the land of the dead, go into there and just cast Dawn, Sunbeam, Hiroshima, whatever you want to do. Just fucking destroy the place. I'm sure that's a spell.
I mean, we
in
are-
there somewhere.
We are planning on going south, so who knows?
Yeah.
If
I don't
it is
think you'll
them,
have time to
then-
set up your temple in Deluin, though, if it's under siege.
That's true.
Your missionary work will have to take a back seat. But what was the thinking?
I don't have the
behind-
spell. I don't have the spell yet, so it's fine.
Did you
What was
use
the
the term
thinking
missionary
behind
after our
Kirek's
69th
caginess?
episode?
Whee!
There it is. The
Yeah,
joke.
what was the thinking behind Kirek's caginess with the Malt Masters, and he didn't want to tell him about his time travel and stuff?
Kirek doesn't like since forever basically has never really trusted the Malt Masters. Not in a manner of like they're sketchy, I don't trust them, but just in a matter of like I don't know if they can help as much as they think they can. And so and also in a time of like, especially after they said like, oh, there's doppelgangers and fucking changelings and stuff like that. Kerry's like, okay, so basically like the less information is spread, the better. Especially
I suppose and
certainly
also
about
one
certain
of them
things.
has also already recently become evil.
Yeah, there is
So
also that.
They're not infallible, I suppose. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Whereas
And
I
so-
just overshare apparently.
It does definitely fall down the lines of make sure that no one knows all of the plan. So
Yeah.
then not the whole thing.
At
falls.
least, yeah, especially in the point where like, that was the thing Kira kept saying. Like, we've got pieces of a puzzle. We've got pieces of puzzles. We don't even know if it's the same puzzle. We just don't know how they go together. And I think Kirek is thinking like, but there's someone that does once they get all the pieces.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Zapanir could
I
definitely be
don't-
a red herring or a white dragon, but
I don't know if I want them to have all the pieces. So yeah. So there was a bit of patience about that.
I think the reason Ander overshares is he's emotionally stunted or not emotionally developed like others, right? So he doesn't know how to deal with all of these things or process all of these feelings or these things. So if he feels like if he gets them out, somebody can tell him how he then has to feel about it, or then once it's out, he doesn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
he
we could
wants
get
someone.
into the whole psychological effects of the amount of childhood trauma that Ander went through, because there was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, the only thing he hasn't been is molested, but that might come back at a later date. We just don't know.
I'm pretty sure he did most of the molesting. To be fair.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
to
seen
be
his
fair,
family
he's had a
ripped
hard time.
away and all sorts. So
Yeah, so it's not Anders' fault. Leave him alone.
Bless him.
very broken little boy.
Yeah. It's just a little boy with a sword that tells him to stab people. What could go wrong?
I did love that through the episode as well. Stop telling me to stab him.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, superb. Absolutely brilliant.
But actually, yeah, how would this
Go for it.
Dagger feel about that? Because he's all about for the glory of Nylin. So if the course of action may be destroying Nylin, he didn't actually kick off when we destroyed the source. So I suppose he wouldn't know either way either, would he?
Yeah, but it could also be that it is like it's a sentient thing, but it could also just be like, a dog with a bone, and it's literally just like, for the glory of Nylin, stab him.
Yeah. Yeah. This is how I justify my actions for Nylin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's like like a dog, and a car, wants to chase it but doesn't know what to do with it if he caught it. Just like it's gonna go whoops.
Yeah.
So yeah. What were you gonna say, Simon?
I was gonna ask. No, I wasn't gonna ask. I was gonna say that I realized today, because I was looking at my inventory during the week, because I was like, oh, we might have shopping session this week, which we didn't, but it's fine. And I was just looking, and I suddenly saw Durigar head. I was like, oh, why did we keep that really again? I was like, oh yeah, it was to ask questions, and then, like we do, we just killed the fucking what are they called? Mind flayers.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I could ask him questions, but is he going to know anything? Probably not. So let's just bury it. And then I realized today that I've got a lance from that cave as well, and plate armor that I also picked up from that cave. All of them from the same guy, the very first guy with the dogs that we found.
Nice.
It's probably going to have Mephisto identify that also.
We always plan to chat to somebody about something, or talk to somebody, or keep in touch with somebody, and we just never, ever, ever do it. And then we remember when it's too late.
Or when the DM makes them knock on the front door.
Yeah. I mean, Kirek literally gave the candles to talk to... what was it?
Lena.
Yeah.
To Lena, yeah. And only today when... Yeah, only today when the name come up, I was like, oh yeah, I should probably say something. I haven't even checked
Actually,
if
that might be a
the
good
candles
shout
lit
to
up.
do next week, because if you light the candle to talk, you might get the enemy talk back.
Or just,
If
find a way in with Lena. Yeah.
And she might be able to get
So,
word
yes.
to her dad. Is it her dad in Deluin?
I believe so, yeah.
Idril or something, wasn't it?
No, Deluin.
It wasn't Deluin.
See, I could remember that, but some of the... I don't know why, but when you were like, show me your tattoo, I was like, what fucking tattoo? I don't know why. I'd forgotten a lot of things today.
That's what happens when
alright.
you have weeks and weeks of dungeon crawl.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's because I've
It's
started a
been
new
while.
notebook, so I've lost my attunement to my notebook.
Yeah,
I see, yeah.
Just reattune to your old one.
Yeah.
Sit down for an hour.
Another thing I
read it.
completely forgot is that Kirek apparently has an alchemy jug.
What does that do?
I completely forgot that was a thing.
Oh, is that the one that gets you jar of mayonnaise and stuff? And
2
not a
gallons
jar
of
of
mayonnaise.
two gallons of mayonnaise, that's it.
And 4 gallons of
I mean,
beer, which is like, why have we never used that?
Suddenly Doug was like, hand it over.
Just carrying this jug around.
There is some things though that I've got rid of some stuff on my character sheet on Monday, but I've still got. I don't think, although it'll probably come back to bite me, the armor of acid resistance. I might give that back to Mephisto. I might give my dancing rapier back, or sell it, or trade it, because I've got my bow and arrow to be distanced now, and I've got my dagger for stabby. I want to keep my flame tongue rapier just in case, because we've come up with loads of monsters that needed fire, but I just never know ahead of time to attune to it. Acid resistance, I might need it if we come up against other dragons or something else, but my attuned items, I've got my cloak, my dagger, and then I've only got one other slot, which is currently the Ring of Counterspell, which I never fucking use either. So
You're always
that
too far
one
away.
achievement slot. Is it a sword? Is it a ring? Is it armor?
Yeah.
In my head, if we're
choices.
going to a place that's under siege by demons and evil, acid damage is not beyond the realms of possibility, is it?
Yeah, true. I have obviously been thinking about. We don't know what we go up against, but I do know that fire to hand is useful in a number of occasions. We've obviously seen that. Not just against cold, but against trolls and against many other creatures. So I have been working out what the hell a fighter can have apart from a flame tongue sword. That might help. I don't know.
Isn't it more what a warlock might be able to have?
Could be,
What level spells? What warlock level spells do you have up to? Second?
second, yeah.
Could probably get. Oh, but you're not planning on taking any more levels of warlock, are you?
I am unlikely to. I mean, I don't know. I could maybe. The next fighter is only an ASI, so.
Or a feat.
Only an ASI.
Or a feat. Oh yes, we did talk
Only
about
an
feat.
My tone of leadership, I'm up to 20 charisma score now. I thank you.
20 charisma score, nice.
So my spell DC is now rivaling Kirek's at an 18.
That's gorgeous.
18.
So
Very good.
That's the problem with the way that I went Warlock is none of the spells are, gonna really hit. So.
I mean,
Just go
you
nuts
attack 3 times a
and out
turn,
here.
so I think we're good.
I don't
Just
know what
have-
you mean.
just have a fallout.
With a bonus action, 3 attacks a turn, and an action surge, I could hit people 7 times. I think I might be all right.
Just have an argument with Timiel and ask for a divorce, and then
Sounds great.
get
Get rid
rid
of the best sword that we found so far.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It was one of those ones that it was actually quite difficult in that episode to not go, oh yeah, maybe I will have that sword just in case, because as much as I would go, it'd be great to just pull out, that sword against the undead, and I would deal a lot of damage to them. As much as Timiel's Wrath doesn't do that extra damage to undead anymore, he ain't ever letting Timiel's Wrath go for something like that. This is going to be a better tactical advantage. He's got a great axe on his back, and he needs to get rid of it because he's never going to use it. So
Yeah.
it's one of those ones that I have decided. We said about it. It's the flaws. It's that flaw of no, prefer this sword, even if they may be better
Yep.
for certain occasions. No, doesn't matter.
I suppose plus because she's sentient, Dargon feel bad as well. It's not like it's just a bit of metal, is it?
Exactly. That is exactly it. That was that was exactly what was going through his head. It was like, yeah, no, can't explain this to the missus. So yeah, it was. But again, it helped me choose, which I thought was really good. So.
What do you think we're going to find in Deluin? Do you think when you say it was under siege, Matt, do you mean there's literally enemies at the gate but they're holding them off, or parts of the city have fallen and they're all held up in the keep and they're fucked?
Guess you'll
Have to ask
wait
that
and
question.
find out.
Come on.
I tell you one thing. I don't want to give away too much. I mean, I know we spoke about the fact that I get 2 extra maneuvers last week. I don't want to say what they are just yet, but one of them is not necessarily to help me. So I tried to go down the route of, like we've all said, like helping each other out. And so I currently don't know who, but all of you could use it. But it's just one of those fun ones. I was like, do you know what? As much as I can try, it came down to action economy, right? There were a lot of them which were like, there was even one that was like, you can forego one of your attacks and then use your bonus action instead. I'm like, great, but I often use my bonus action, so no. And then there were other ones where it was like, you can use your reaction. And again, I'm like, hang on a minute, I'm going to have like 4 things I can do with my reaction, as I already have like 3. And I'm like, no. So...
Yeah, there's only so many reactions you can take. 1 per turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I realised and went, okay, maybe I should help someone else with one of these. Which, just see if it works. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting into that thing of like, ooh, I've got a lot of stuff. I currently have like 4 things that I can do with my reaction, when realistically I'm probably only going to be using 2 of them.
I tell you what, there was another one again, and I was actually... So there were quite a few actually at the point I was at, because I'd used all the other ones up, so to speak. Mm-hmm. A lot of them were to help other people. But also a lot of them used the other character's reaction.
Interesting.
So I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, that would be good for Bothrid, is in the fact that if we burn his reaction, good. I think that's all right, because I don't see he does that much with his reaction. He could be wrong, but I don't feel like he does.
Opportunity attacks would be about it for Bothrid.
Pretty much. So I was like, okay, that would be quite useful. But then I'm nailing it down to this is only helping 1 person. I was like, okay, well, Ander really does need to keep his reaction for cutting damage in half.
Yeah.
Your evasion or whatever it's
for
called.
me, my 2 reactions are uncanny dodge or skirmisher. So if somebody finishes their go within 5 feet of me, I can move 15 feet away without getting an opportunity attack.
Exactly. So I was like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and again I was like, okay, they're quite good and useful for you. So let's not try and burn your reaction. And I don't want to put you in the position of going, by the way, I've just used my special ability to use your reaction. You're like, I don't want to use my reaction. You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
Oh, I'm currently counterspell, but that never works out for me.
Yeah, and then again, the same for Kirek. You know, your reaction of denying, the DM of killing us is just so useful. So, I was like, that was a really interesting one. Going, hang on a minute, that sounded great until I realised that our reactions are really important. Mm-hmm. If we were a group full of fighters, this would be game changing, but it's not.
Yeah,
I feel like on his birthday,
imagine that, a party full of fighters.
We should let Matt have a natural 20 if he gets one.
Sorry, say that again, Danny.
I said I feel like 1 year on his birthday, if Matt gets a natural 20, we should let him have it one time.
Absolutely.
I guarantee that'll be the day I get the TPK.
So they will not. Would not let him.
Unless you come at us with an enemy that we will die, then obviously we'll sentinel it.
I mean,
but if it's just like
I know Samal loves me,
fight,
but he definitely does not love me that much.
Oh, natural 20s. That's not a thing.
I would be the same.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to probably people know now, that Kirek took level in a slight homebrewed version of the Rune Knight.
Ooh.
To be fair, I should have seen that coming with you drawing all over yourself on Monday.
Yeah, with the runes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the homebrew element to that?
It's just more connected to the Raven Queen.
Yeah, we've basically just tweaked it. It's this same pretty much rule set. I've tweaked some of the runes so they make more sense, but it's basically just flavoured towards the Raven Queen.
So he now has he gained 3 abilities, 3 features. One of them allows him to use calligrapher's tools, and speak Celestial.
That'll be handy.
And yeah.
Do you think it was Celestial that was on the grates that Bothrid could read?
No idea. It's probably I don't know. And then he also has an ability that I don't want to disclose until I use it, and another one which is the runes, which each rune has like a passive ability and an active ability that I can use. I also won't say what the active abilities are because it'll be really cool. It's going to be really cool when I do show. But one of
Blow my
them,
mind.
one of them gives as a passive gives advantage on inside checks. That's what it is, and dark vision up to 120 feet.
That's all of us.
Which is pretty great. And then the other one,
That's a lot
which I
to
found
kill.
hilarious. Yeah, which I found hilarious, which is he gets advantage on sleight of hand and deception checks. Which I think he gained from spending time with Ender, but then he's never going to be as good as Ender.
That's sweet. Oh, that's
That
so
could be
cool.
handy though when we go to Delywin, you know, because what about if Delywin is being overrun by the orcs, which aren't too far away?
True.
That might come in handy, your deception, you know.
Mm-hmm. It is a +0. Still.
Well, my tome of leadership, some of my skills now are fucking ridiculous. I've got +15 on deception, performance, and persuasion.
Just,
So I can't roll lower than a 25.
oh my god.
You can't roll lower
deception
than
or
a
persuasion.
25. Jesus.
College of Eloquence.
Bards,
So-
man. Bards and
We've got
rooks.
advantage on your inside checks and passive insight of like 42.
20.
So I could still slip some past you with a 25.
Yeah, as much as like for a long time, I've been thinking of taking the Skill Master feat. I think is what it's called, which would allow me to get what's it called? Expertise on an ability of my skill of my choice. As much as I want to take that for insight, just for the memes, I think I'm going to take something else on my next ASI, which is my next
Are
level.
you on about Skill Expert, where you can actually knock one of these stats up to 20 as well?
You can, skill expert is like you increase one of your stats, you gain proficiency in the skill, and you gain expertise in the skill you're already proficient with. It's pretty great. For a long time, I thought of taking that, but I think I'm going to take something else instead. I think I'm going to take a different feat, which I think it's going to be resilient, but I'm not entirely sure yet.
Nice.
Still playing around with resilient or warcaster, but again, warcaster is really good for reactions, and I always have my reaction ready. So I think I'm going to take resilient, but who knows?
What's
What's resilience do?
Resilient
increase
gives
an ability
you-
score, and
Yeah.
you get proficiency in saving throws of that particular ability.
Yep. I'll do that for Constitution, for my concentration checks.
That's a good
Yeah.
fucking hell, that is a good idea.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. I think I was going to say that with my next ASI, I'd probably go with the feat tough, just for shits and giggles.
Jesus
Fucking
Christ!
extra HP.
My God.
Just,
Yeah, you'd get an extra 15 HP once you pick it up.
Yep.
yeah. Yeah.
Can you lend that to somebody else in battle?
I can use one
Wouldn't
of
it be 30? Because it's an extra 2 hit points per.
Oh, it's an extra 2 per level. Yeah. So an extra 30 HP once you pick it up.
So
Jesus.
that would
You've been knocking on
by the
200.
time that I level up would pass me over 200.
Jesus
Easily.
Christ.
Fuck's sake.
So yeah.
Plus 8.
Plus
Yeah.
8, yeah.
Well, I mean that was the thing is obviously I was looking at my constitution is 19. I'm like, do I plus one that?
Jesus.
It's really funny.
So
We
I
could have a look at
room-
taking some feats next time.
I need to
I
read up
remember
some
the
more
night
of them.
thing then.
'cause
So
I'm-
is it the runes that you homebrewed? What the runes
No,
are
the
rather than
runes-
the ones
the
that are in the book.
No, the runes are present. The runes on, like, for game balancing purposes, the runes, what they do mechanically are unchanged. It's more the flavor around it that is different. And I think we changed as well. when a fighter takes Rune Knight, they get bonus proficiencies. But because runes are basically connected to giants,
Yeah.
it's all like you get proficiency in giant, like you can speak giant, and you got proficiency in smith's tools and stuff like that.
Oh, sweet. Dargon and
yeah.
and Kirek could converse in
Yeah.
giant without anyone knowing.
But we changed that because we were like, it doesn't make a lot of sense because also Dargon and Kirek haven't spent time that way, so.
The history
so then
of
we
it's
decided
still
to-
very much there. It's all still very much based
Yeah.
on giants. It's just that something happened to the Raven Queen at some point to allow that to happen. So there's like an offshoot of this subclass, if you like. But it's interesting. It was good fun, having never really homebrewed a subclass.
It's
fun.
good.
All a test bed for when one of you buggers comes at me for campaign 2 and says I want a totally homebrewed subclass.
Nah, I'm not brave enough for that.
Yeah, I've still got to get some experience under my belt before I can start doing that. You know, I'm really tempted again with like, you know, we've discussed about it here in the fact that it's been great to multi-class, but I kind of feel like I want to stick to one class next time or my next, you know, just to really try and I don't know, do it justice.
Multi-classing, it's kind of been narrative based in campaign 1, kind of not. I think if you're going to multi-class, it's got to be narrative based,
Yeah.
not just going I want to do this for shits and giggles sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's either got to be something that's fundamental to your character from the beginning, which is why they've multi-classed at the beginning, or if we're going like level 2 or 3 at the beginning, or when you get so far through the story thinking this is so fundamental to my character that they no longer are going to be a straight warlock or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, as you say, is may well be how you define it. So, I suppose we can have the intention of staying as a single one, but as you say, if you allow the RP to do it, then it works. I like the idea of it.
Yeah, I like the idea
Makes
of picking
more
something
sense.
that scares me. Like, I was quite a low-level sorcerer, but like a high-level sorcerer would be scary to play through, or wizard. Like a war magic wizard would be cool.
Good old war magic wizard. And of course, there's the new classes from Fizzbands as well, subclasses.
Yeah, I've had a little.
Which I haven't
bash on
really
them, had a
looked
little
into
look.
yet.
Way of the
Haven't really
Ascendant
looked into
Dragon
them.
Monk. Jesus.
Yeah, that's
The thing is, that you don't want to be a dragon to do that because it basically gives you breath weapon as a non-dragon. If you take that class, which is pretty cool, and the Drake Warden Ranger one as well, isn't it? But I had a little go at creating Emerald Gem Dragon Bard just to see what it was because their main their breath weapon is psychic damage,
oh nice.
so it goes pretty well with some of the bardic stuff.
The
doesn't
gem
it?
dragons are
And then
pretty
they're obviously
cool.
resistant.
And actually, I can say it now because they released the Sapphire Dragon ages ago, and I think I was trying to tease it out towards the end of his time. Vraco is a Sapphire Dragonborn.
Nice.
And that's the lightning damage then, is that where the thunder damage, that's where that comes from?
No, the thunder damage comes from Cord and his cleric abilities.
Just
So
trying to
we
think
never
now, 'cause I
got
know
to-
the Emerald Dragon is psychic, the Amethyst one is force damage, I think. I can't remember what the other ones are.
Please hold core. Sapphire.
Was he a temp? No, he wasn't a Tempest Domain cleric, was he?
Yep.
Oh,
It was to begin with. There were some fundamental changes that happened to him, which caused some fucking edits halfway through. As with Tashes.
Yeah, he had a bit of a tough time, didn't he? Poor old sod. Yeah, so
It's fine, we'll-
I
Amethyst
think
is
a
force,
Sapphire
Crystal
Dragon
is
is lightning,
radiant,
actually.
Emerald is psychic, Sapphire is thunder, and then Topaz is necrotic. So imagine
Nice.
being a Topaz, Oathbreaker, Paladin.
Paladin.
That'd be cool. Because Oathbreaker is all about necrotics and necromancy and shit, isn't it? You get those sort of spells.
They get raised dead. Or animate dead, one of the two.
I'm bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, they're cool.
But it does. I feel like if you pick one of the gem dragons, it kind of almost semi-picks what class you go into as well. Because it's like, if you're as a sapphire dragon, why would you not then have something that is to do with thunder, like Vraco, or like a storm sorcerer?
Doesn't have to. I mean, usually you'd pick a race to match the sort of class you're going with anyway.
Yeah,
you can change your ability scores, though, can't you? With initial ability score.
Well, I think that's the way things are going anyway. So it will be a case of you get variant races. You can just pick what you want. We've discussed it a couple of times, like on a point-buy system. So you can either go 1-1-1 or 2-1. I think they're going to end up doing that with all the races, because every single race they've released now since Tasha's has that you choose ability. So I think that'll be some of the updates to how they giving people more choice over sort of backgrounds for characters and a bit more of choice around origins more than anything else. So it's going to be interesting on the rules for that front. We'll have to see what the next book brings, because I think we've got Strixhaven's the next adventure module, isn't it?
Yes, Strixhaven's the one coming up next in December.
And then next year is, well, I think the only one we know about next year is the monster one, isn't it? Which I've totally forgotten the title of. Monsters of the Multiverse. Multiverse.
Monsters of the Multiverse, yes. And we know the adventure, the Critical Role one.
Oh yeah, Critical Role, of course. Yeah.
How
could I forget that one?
Dear me.
There's been quite
So
a few
much.
things come out in the past 18 months for D&D.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Wizards of the Coast are on it.
They are on it.
It's just exploded.
Well, they've certainly had the whole "shut up and take my money" meme has been me for the past I don't know how long.
Pretty much.
I think I've got every book they release on pre-order all of the time. So
nice.
Just need to subscribe and save to their pre-orders. Just like, yeah,
Although I
always.
was using the new Dragon Egg dice the other night while I was playing D&D. I was cheating on you with some other guys and playing D&D on Friday night. And I was using the Dragon Egg dice, and I got a disproportionate amount of ones to the point where I was like, that was the worst perk I've ever got from a pre-order, because I honestly got about 9 ones that night.
Oh no.
I felt cursed.
That's what you get for betraying us.
Yeah.
Don't blame the dice.
Like you guys aren't cheating on me with other guys.
Oh god.
I think Dave's the only one that doesn't play another session of D&D.
This is my only one, actually, yeah.
Oh wow.
I Dungeon Master for another group. Simau's literally everywhere with Dungeons and Dragons, I think.
Dungeon Master for 2 other groups.
Ooh,
There you go.
damn.
Show
But
off.
it's all good fun.
Yeah. Right. On that note, maybe we should call it another.
On that note, Dave needs more
Peace
friends,
out.
is what we've just established, is it?
Apparently. Well, I've been moving house, so that maybe I can actually start one here.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, magic. Well, thank you very much for tuning in for another episode of Malt, Magic and More on this fine Wednesday evening. I hope you've thoroughly enjoyed yourselves as we have. Going through our RP heavy episode on Monday. And yeah, just trying to find out all the different things that is going on. We really haven't got a clue. And I suppose the one thing we didn't discuss, because we have discussed it before, is the fact that obviously all of this was after doing something we really shouldn't have done in the first place. So obviously, yeah, it's kind of a bit of catch up now. So all looking forward to it, and I think we're going to have a great time in the next couple of weeks finding out what we're meant to have found out before we went. So yeah, tune in for that one, and find us on Twitch on a Monday and Wednesday, and we do then release our videos onto YouTube later on that week. I hope you've enjoyed our episode tonight, and we'll see you next week.